Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube Table and Able. Today we're starting a new week. Siman Kuf Chavav 126. We'll actually be finishing Chelik Aleph of the Mishnah Berurah. So if you're following along the Mishnah Berurah, you have to get Chelik Beis out starting on Tuesday. He says Dalet Zifim 4 Halachas Shliach Sibur Shatah. He made a mistake. The Chazaras Hashas we've been talking about in the past couple of shiurim. He made a mistake. Either he forgot a word or saying Talamata Levracha, we're going to say on Zayin Cheshvan, this we're going to start saying here in Israel, he left it out. So, Aleph, here he talks about, he skipped the whole bracha. You remind them, some people in the shul, they remind you, they don't want to talk, so they write it down on a paper. I never saw this before. I was davening Hallel once for the Talmud, and they thought I wasn't davening loud enough, so a guy comes over to me very hurriedly, like, very serious guy here, the guy. He screams sometimes, like if they don't say it, like Baruch Hu Baruch Shmo or something like that. I don't know. Some people go crazy. Listen, I remember, I think even one person even like they didn't close the Aron when they were saying Avinu Malkeinu, and like he waited like a second too long to close the Aron, and the person like yelled at him, how could you do that? I'm like, calm down. It's okay if the Aron's open an extra second. No one's gonna die. So anyway, people get very crazy. So they write it down on a piece of paper. He gave me a piece of paper. He said, Lo shomim otcha. Okay, thank you for writing a piece of paper. He's allowed to talk also if he wanted to help me out. If no one could hear, you're not being able to say Hallel because you have to have people answer. Anyway, people are very frum. Unfortunately, they don't understand the halacha because they don't learn halacha. They just take frumkeit as a religion. Judaism is a set of laws, not a set of frumkeit. Anyway, when they remind him, he knows where to go back to. Especially with Sidurim nowadays, those big Shliach Sibur Sidurim, of course he knows where to go back to. You don't remove him. Let him go back. If he skips Malshinim, so even if we don't know he did it on purpose, Malshinim is when we say, talk about Apikorsim. Miyad, Shem Apikoris. The reason he's got Malshinim is because he's an Apikoris. He's an Epicurean. He's someone who likes to eat food with manners, fine. So however, if he started Malshin and made a mistake, and we don't assume that he's a min, we don't assume he's an apikoris, we don't remove him. What about if he doesn't know where to go back? He's completely befuddled, I'm not going to compare him to anyone. Another person doesn't know where to go back, so another person should come and fill in. Also in the Gimel, we talked about this earlier in 53 in Halacha in chapter 53. So the new one starts from the beginning of the bracha. If the mistake was in one of the middle 13 brachos, it was part of the first 3 brachos. He goes back to the beginning. If the mistake was in the last 3 brachos, then when the replacement, he starts from Ritzei. Just any mistake that our Yachid would make in his Tevilah, also Shliach Sibur has to go back and make mistakes from his Mispalel B'Kol Ram when he's doing Chazarat Shas. Chutz Mishachar Rosh Chodesh, except on Shachar Rosh Chodesh, Shachar Shliach Sibur will history Yalav Yavo Haj Hishlam Tevilah. He finishes Tevilah. I don't know how this is possible in a shul that he didn't say Yalav Yavo. There has to be at least 10 people yelling out. I feel like crazy. The second, they're waiting for the to catch the person. If somehow this happened, that they didn't pay attention to, and they realize after, so you don't go back and repeat. This is hard for the tzibur to wait for another. Because nonetheless, he's going to daven Musaf, and on Musaf he'll mention Rosh Chodesh, so he's not leaving out Rosh Chodesh entirely. The difference is that a Yachid, right, even in Shemon Esrei, even though he'll daven Musaf a little later, he still has to go back. There's no Torah Chatzibur for him. It's Torah for him, not Torah Chatzibur. So if the Shliach Tzibur remembered, right, in Shachris of Rosh Chodesh, they didn't say Yaleh before he finished, Chosel would say, you go back to the Seif Emes at Torah Chatzibur. That's not such a big Torah Chatzibur. It doesn't take too long. The minhag is also on Shabbos and Yom Tov, because they're also going to say Musaf over there, mention Shabbos and Yom Tov. So therefore, there's no reason to go back if you remembered after you forgot Shemona Esrei. I mean, on Shabbos and Yom Tov, there's no Yalav Yavo, but you didn't mention Shabbos, you daven a Tefillah Shachol. I don't know how this is possible that it would ever happen like this. Daled, Im Torah Shliach Sibur Shemispal Balachash. Let's say during his private Shmona Esrei, the Shliach Sibur made a mistake. You don't go back. Keep on davening. This is a halacha. I guess a lot of people don't know about it. If you're Shliach Sibur, you should know about this. You don't go back, even if you realize Yalav Yavo. It sounds like even in the middle, you started saying Ritzeg, you didn't say Yalav Yavo. Just keep on going. If you made a mistake one of the 3 first brachos, like you didn't say Masha Baruch Mer Geshem, and you didn't say Morid Atal nowadays, so then he would have to go back to the beginning of Shemona Esrei, because without those first 3 brachos, you have nothing. You have no basis of your Shemona Esrei, so therefore you have to go back to there. Let's talk about Ian to Lina, and we're going to talk about this halacha, which differentiates in halacha Gimel between a Shliach Sibur and a Yachid, that a Shliach Sibur can rely on his Musaf for Yalav Yavo. If mentioning Rosh Chodesh, a regular person can't rely on that. Seemingly the reason is because Torah Chatzibur, but there has to be a little bit more to it. I'm going to explain more in detail in Ian to lean on coming up next.